Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Group. I am your host, as always, Ryan, and today we are going to be taking a look at the top 5 male wrestlers of the year for 2024. This year has been a great year for professional wrestling throughout, and as a whole, the industry is on the up as they look to push on to bigger and better things in 2025. Now, one debate I have seen amongst fans these past few weeks is who has been the MVP of the year. So that is what we're going to be doing today. We are going to be ranking the top 5 male wrestlers of the year. But for this video, we will just focus on the singles division. As always, feel free though to let us know your top 5 in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button while you do. So we'll start with number 5, Cody Rhodes. In 2024, Cody Rhodes probably had the best year of his career so far. Starting the year strong with winning his second Royal Rumble match, having already won it the year before, Cody guaranteed himself a title shot once again at WrestleMania. And during this year's WrestleMania, Cody in fact main evented both nights back to back. Himself and Seth Rollins teamed up to face the mega team of The Rock and Roman Reigns, albeit in a losing effort on night 1. And on night 2, he faced off against Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship in a rematch from WrestleMania 39. But this time, he got the victory and became WWE Champion for the very first time in his career. Cody's reign as champion has been a little bit up and down, if we're being honest. While he's had some decent matches with the likes of AJ Styles, especially the one at Backlash, it has sometimes played second fiddle to the continuation of the Bloodline story, which seen Cody and longtime rivals squash their beef to tag team in the main event of Bad Blood versus the Bloodline, and let's face it, it was a decent match with Cody and Roman getting the victory. Cody also has a victory this year against the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther, winning the Crown Jewel Championship at the pay-per-view in November. Now, Cody has successfully defended the WWE Championship 7 times on WWE TV and pay-per-views, with numerous other defences at WWE live shows. A victory over Kevin Owens at Saturday night's main event means that he'll be ending the year still as your WWE Champion. So how would you rate the American Nightmares 2024? Let us know in the comment section below. Is Cody Rhodes in your top 5 and where does he rank? So in at number 4, Zack Sabre Jr. Like Cody Rhodes, it's safe to say that Zack Sabre Jr. has also had the year of his career for 2024. Zack went into Wrestle Kingdom back in January as the New Japan Television Champion, having held the title for 365 days, winning it at Wrestle Kingdom the year before. Unfortunately though, he did lose the championship to Hiroshi Tanahashi at the pay-per-view. A slow start to the year, but things would start looking up for the Englishman, and at Windy City Riot in April, Zack Sabre Jr. would start his second reign as the television champion after he defeated hot free agent Matt Riddle. In July this year, Zack Sabre Jr. entered into the G1 Climax for the 8th time in his career. He was entered into the A block and would pick up victories against Evil, Sanada, Lee, Kidd, Newman, the Great O'Khan and Tetsuya Naito to finish on top of the block on 14 points, losing only twice, once to Shingo Takagi and the other to Shota Umino. Zack Sabre Jr. would then go on to defeat Shingo in the semi-finals and Tsuji in the final, winning both of these matches via submission. Zack Sabre Jr. became the first ever English wrestler to win Japan's most prestigious tournament, and with that, he set his sights on the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Now, usually the winner of the G1 will face off against the champion in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom the following January, but Zack had other ideas and he wanted to defeat Naito before New Japan's pay-per-view in London, England, so he could return as the champion. And that is just what he did. Sabre defeated Naito at King of Pro Wrestling and became just the second Englishman to hold the world title, with Ospreay being the first. He then went into Royal Quest pay-per-view in London as champion and defeated Sanada to retain it. His next challenge to defend the IW World Heavyweight Championship is in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom against Shota Umino, who defeated him in the G1 Climax this year, and that match will take place in January. But I do think it's safe to say that Zack Sabre Jr. has had one hell of a year. But what did you make of it? Let us know in the comment section below. So in at number 3, Will Ospreay. Now, like Zack Sabre Jr., Will Ospreay was unable to win his Wrestle Kingdom match, which was a triple threat match against Jon Moxley and David Finlay for the New Japan Global Championship, but it wasn't long before Ospreay would start to pick up some wins. His next match seen him defeat Josh Alexander in what many consider to be TNA's match of the year. Ospreay would then sign the biggest deal of his career with AEW, but would remain in New Japan a little while longer to settle some unfinished business with David Finlay before going All Elite full time. Next up, Ospreay's United Empire took on David Finlay's Bullet Club War Dogs in a steel cage match. This match lasted for an hour and was so brutal that Henare ended up with a massive gash in his head that needed stitches, and Alex Coughlin was forced to retire. In his first match as a full-time AEW wrestler, Ospreay defeated Takeshita at the Revolution pay-per-view before besting Bryan Danielson at Wrestle Dynasty back in March. And these were Match of the Year candidates. On the April 24th episode of Dynamite, Ospreay won a Casino Gauntlet match for an opportunity to challenge for the AEW International Championship. And at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, Ospreay defeated Roderick Strong to win his first title in AEW in another stellar match. MJF was Ospreay's next challenge as the former world champion set his sights on the title, and both men would face one another on the 250th anniversary of Dynamite. This match opened the show and lasted just shy of 60 minutes, with MJF picking up the victory. Ospreay would then win the rematch at the All In pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium and regained the championship. Ospreay would again lose the title at Wrestle Dream in a triple threat match against Takeshita and Ricochet. Then Ospreay would then team with a longtime friend Kyle Fletcher in a losing effort against the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Champions in probably the tag team match of the year. And after the match, Fletcher turned on Ospreay. After losing to his former best friend at Full Gear, Ospreay found himself in the Continental Classic, which is still ongoing at the moment, as he looks to end the year as champion once again. But how would you rate Will Ospreay's 2024? Let us know in the comment section below. In at number 2, Bryan Danielson. Now, the American Dragon has had a great 2024 as he continued to show just why he should be in the conversation for greatest wrestler of all time. Like the last two entrants on our list, Bryan Danielson started the year with a loss to Kazuchika Okada at, you guessed it, Wrestle Kingdom. Now that just shows if you want to have a great year, then you need to start with a loss at the Wrestle Kingdom pay-per-view. This match levelled the score between Bryan and Okada at one victory each. They would face off one more time in the closing stages of 2024, with Danielson picking up the victory to end their rivalry. Bryan would then face Ospreay in my match of the year at the Dynasty pay-per-view, but would lose this match too. It started to look like it wasn't going to be a very good year for the American Dragon until Danielson entered the Owen Hart tournament, and Tony Khan had announced that this year the winner of each the men's and the women's would face off against the respected world champions at the All In pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium. Now, Danielson would defeat Shingo Takagi and Pac in the opening stages before eventually defeating Hangman Page in the final to earn his shot at the AEW World Championship. Now, in the build-up to this match at All In, Danielson would announce that this would be his last year as a full-time professional wrestler, meaning this would be his last shot at the world title. In the main event of All In, Danielson defeated Swerve to become the champion in an absolute phenomenal match. He would then successfully defend the title against Kazuchika Okada in a champion vs champion match on Dynamite, and against the scapegoat Jack Perry at All Out. After the match against Perry, his Blackpool Combat Club stablemates turned their backs on Bryan, with Mox suffocating them with a plastic bag. Mox would then defeat Darby Allin for a shot at Danielson and the AEW World Championship at AEW Full Gear, which Mox would win, taking the title and bringing an end to Danielson's full-time career as a wrestler. So who could be our number one spot? It's Swerve Strickland, number one. In our number one spot of Wrestler of the Year, Swerve Strickland, his rise in AEW over the last 18 months has been the best in professional wrestling. His ongoing feud with Hangman Page has been the best feud we have seen in AEW this far. Swerve started his 2024 with a win against Matt Sydal in the Homecoming special episode of Rampage back in January. In the build-up to the Revolution pay-per-view, Swerve would face Hangman, with the winner getting a shot at the AEW World Championship at the event. The match though ended in a time limit draw, with neither man able to defeat their arch enemy. Swerve would get on the microphone and ask for just 5 more minutes, but Hangman refused. Before Tony Schiavone would announce that both men would get their shot at the pay-per-view in a triple threat match, which Samoa Joe would win and retain the world title. Swerve though would get another shot at Joe and the AEW World Championship in the main event of the Dynasty pay-per-view, and this time he will be successful, winning his first World Championship of his career. Swerve would retain his title at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view against Hall of Famer Christian Cage, and at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view against Will Ospreay in another absolute banger. Up next, Swerve would lead Team AEW into battle against the Elite in a blood and guts match, where he would once again be pitted against arch rival Hangman Page in a winning effort. Swerve would also successfully defend the title against Roderick Strong on Dynamite, and would defeat Tomohiro Ishii in a title eliminator match on Collision, before eventually dropping the title to Danielson at All In. Admittedly, Swerve has had a tough time since losing his world title, ending the year with back-to-back pay-per-view losses to Hangman Page in a steel cage match at All In, and the debuting Bobby Lashley at WrestleDream. But don't forget, he's also still managed to pick up some victories against Shelton Benjamin, and an absolute mauling of Max Caster ends the year strong. So there you have it, that is our top 5 male wrestlers of the year. Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comment section below, and make sure you subscribe to the wrestling group and look out for our top 5 female wrestlers of the year for 2024 video, which will be dropping soon.